What's going on, everybody? This is Hell Broke Lucy making a special video for a special crowd. Black Christians. I can talk to you because I was born genetically without an ounce of racism in me, nor homophobia, and I can credit my parents a little bit for the non-racism because they were non-racist. But we got to go back to genetics and give that most of the credit because I'm non-homophobic. You know, I made friends with who I knew were gay children and high schoolers in the 70s up to 75. And their life as they lived it turned out, it proved I was right. But for you black people, you're still in bondage. Now I'm not talking about the stupid ass fucking racism of white supremacy, KKK, Nazism, fascism, Donald Trump, and all that stupid shit. You're still in intentional bondage. In the words of who should be one of your greatest heroes, Harriet Tubman, she said, "I have set 1,000 slaves free. I could free 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves." She was talking about Christianity in the Bible. I'm going to tell you, as a Bible scholar, I don't have the papers, but I could pass any biblical theology test there is. There is nothing in the Bible, including Jesus' sacrifice, that redeems you from being the cursed race. Nothing. I have studied that book from beginning to end twice without stop and regularly over the years. Slavery is still promoted in the New Testament after Jesus came to be. First of all, science has proven without doubt that the Bible is bullshit. From G to R. Yes, sir. And I'll give you a couple examples how this has to register as bullshit in your head. God created man and woman, and they were perfect. Perfect, huh? Well, how come did a perfect woman have sin in her? How did a perfect woman with no knowledge of shit from Shinola couldn't even bake a loaf of bread, who had been spoken to by her creator, follow the fucking advice of a snake? It's insane. And then this perfect God in Genesis chapter 6, he looked down before the days of Noah and a flood that could not ever have happened without wiping out the entire stratosphere, and there'd be no more earth. And he regretted making humans. How the fuck can a perfect God have a regret? How can a perfect God create a perfect human with sin in them? If Adam hadn't had any sin in them, they wouldn't have disobeyed their creator. There you go. One, it's bullshit. Two, you are still cursed. You are still cursed. The Bible enslaved you. The white supremacists, the Klan, fascism, Nazis, all depend on the continual curse of black people in the Bible. If you was to ever read anything by Andrew Jackson, he was a Confederate president, I believe. He stated, and he'd read the Bible, that nowhere in the Bible is slavery condemned. You all are still intentional slaves. And this is part of the reason that you won't follow the other hero of your people, Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass said, "It is not time for the whisper, for the calm, for the soothing, for the bullshit." I'm paraphrasing a little. He says time for the storm, the hurricane, the lightning, Y'all ain't doing it right. You're not doing it right. In this day and age, you'll get plenty of white people to support you. And white support for black equality are the strongest voices you can get. I am your friend, and I'm here to free you. The book is a proven myth. The flood could not have happened. The water would have had to raise to the top of Mount Everest, which would have pushed the oxygen clear through the ozone, burst our outer layer of the atmosphere, and destroyed the earth. There wouldn't have been a living creature left on the planet except for saltwater creatures. That's it. So when Noah emptied the ark and the tigers come out, they didn't have shit to eat. Except the 2 deer that were in there. But we have plenty of deer. So he didn't wipe out the deer population. And it's insane. It's fucking insane. There'd have been no vegetation for the herbivores on the ark to eat. A year underwater would have killed everything. Those are just 2 examples of the bullshit. And Jesus did not bring love. Read the damn Bible. He brought hell. Hell didn't exist before Jesus got here. And he used a parable of a neighboring king that had his soldiers bring people before him and said, bow. And if they refused to bow, he murdered them. He used that parable because it applied to him. Jesus' own words, hate your mother, your brother, your father, your sister, your in-laws. Hate them all if they don't kiss my ass. If they don't bow to me. Hate them. Hate them. Hate. Love your neighbor. He was talking about the Jewish neighbors. If you'll read the Bible, you'll understand that. The Jewish neighbors in belief of the Christ. The Jews rewrote the 7 first 5 books of the Bible. It's called the Pentateuch, off of documentation that they stole from the Sumerians, the first civilized human beings on the planets where history began. The Bible claims that this planet and humans are about 6,050 years old. And there's none of this bullshit. Well, you don't know how long a day is to God. Bullshit. The Jewish scholars, theologians, Hebrew scholars, and theologians will tell you straight up, search one out. In Hebrew, the word for day is yom, Y-O-M, and it clearly stands for 24 hours if you look in the Hebrew dictionary. Every Jewish scholar, theologian will tell you this. Judaism. Jews are a class of people by themselves, many of which are atheists. But this is your help. Set yourself free from the mental slavery and bondage that you are in, and you will take a large step toward knowing how to fight this evil racism that's in this damn country. I'm your friend. And this is for a friend of mine whose name I will leave out. But he'll get it. And many of you will see this. It's your friend. Y'all broke Lucy. Follow the truth, not your fears.